What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Raid Shell Legends video, and in this video we are back to take a look at the second week of the Titan event for Cassandra Soul, and we are going to plan everything in between that is happening. We have clan versus clan going on at the same time, and we have some surprise tournament events that we were not expecting, but we can make some predictions in regards to that. We're going to cover everything that you need to know in order for you to make the decision in which events you should participate or not, and which are going to be the best champions for you to summon on in clan versus clan if you so desire. Am I going to do it? No, and I would also recommend you to not do it as well, but it's up to you to decide, because some of these champions are very spicy and unique. So yeah, we're going to break down all the information that you need to know in regards to everything that is going on during the second week of the Titan event. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share the videos with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Raid Challenges content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so second week for the Titan event for Cassandra is gonna start up pretty spicy, because when you take a look at the calendar in Raid on the Plarium Play app, we can see all the events that are already coming. So Fire Knight event is starting up tomorrow, and it's going to be a turn attack, so you want to beat Fire Knight as fast as possible, and this will give you Titan point events. That's pretty much it in regards to the points. We have the Tag Team Arena. The rewards are not super crazy. There is a 4-star chicken if you want. There is also some relic materials, but the maximum is legendary, so it's nothing too crazy. After that, we have a Gear Hunters event where you can get some Titan event points, and this overlaps with CVC. So if you want to farm dungeons for these Gear Hunters, that's going to be the best case, which is not great. After that, you can also overlap the Gear Hunters with the Spider Tournament event, which is going to be also turn attack, so you can beat this as fast as possible. You want to beat it as fast as possible. And you can also train some chickens if you have some carrier. For example, I can do this with Shredder plus 4 chickens. So there you go. But I'm probably going to skip these Gear Hunters because it's hard to justify investing on these. But if there is some Augustine event, then I'll consider it. Otherwise, not really. Gear Enhancement event, of course, you want to do this always, especially for me. I have my box completely full of gear, so I need to reroll all my gear and sell it. So I'm glad that we have another Gear Enhancement event. We are probably going to have 3 of them during this Titan event. And after that, we have a Champion Chase Tournament. Yes, another one. And this one is probably going to include some relic materials. We still don't have the announcement of the rewards, but I highly doubt that it's going to be for Augustine. We're going to talk about that in the future, on a future video, when we can expect Augustine to show up and the other champions, but this ain't it. Okay, at the same time, you're going to have a champion training tournament, which you can also expect to obtain some relic materials, or maybe something else, we'll see. It's going to be interesting for sure, all these tournaments at the same time, which is pretty crazy. And then we have a dragon tournament with special rules. Usually when we have this type of tournaments, we get those prism shards, but for souls. Rather than being prism shard for a champion, it's going to be a prism shard for a soul. And this might mean that we might have a surprise event for souls, some 2x on Eternals or on Mortals, something like that in between these events. And finally, we have a classic arena tournament where just participate in the arena, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, so once again, the soul event, I would expect it would happen or during the Dragon Tournament or at the end of the Dragon Tournament. I think that would be the best time to expect this event to show up. Okay, with this in mind, let's talk about clan versus clan, which once again is going to start tomorrow. And the lineup for the champions is pretty solid. This is a non-personal reward CVC, so you have to decide on your own if you're going to do this to win or not. We are going to do the bare minimum. Hopefully we can lose, so on the next one we have an easier match, because that's how it works. Okay, so with this in mind, let's take a look at the lineup of champions that we have available. And like I said, we have some pretty spicy champions here, so let's take a look. So for the first champion that we're going to talk about, we have Basim, and this is going to be one of the Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed champion, and is probably going to be one of the champions that will have a deck of faith. Like we had with Raphael, it seems like all Force champions will be delivered to a deck of faith. And this guy is pretty solid for PvP and also PvE, as you guys can see. Most notable, he can veil himself, and he does a lot of damage. He also applies block active skills, which is very powerful on PvP and also PvE, but like dungeons, faction wars, and Cursed City Grim Forest, not on bosses, so keep that in mind. And yeah, he has a pretty solid passive as well, where he transfers debuffs and buffs, and this will not, of course, work with Polymorph, but yeah, overall he's pretty solid champion. But like I said, he's probably going to be a guaranteed champion in the near future through a deck of faith, so make sure you are saving your souls. After that, we have Wallmaster Otorium, and this guy is from the High Elves, and he's a damage dealer that can buff himself and also do some pretty solid AoE damage based on enemies' max HP. He's based on attack, so he does not have the highest survivability, but he can stack up his stats a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. He's a damage dealer. Oh, there is other thing. He also applies block buffs. So if you don't have Uugo, because you didn't use my promo code or QR code on the screen and so on, you can use this guy instead. But yeah, he's pretty solid damage dealer for High Elves. But overall, in terms of the game, I think he's like above mid, but not like S tier by any means. Okay, let's talk about Uzol. Uzol is a very, very powerful dwarf damage dealer. And he's like crazy good. He was not a fusion, he was not a deck of faith, he was not guaranteed by any means. He's very hard to obtain, but he's absolutely insane. He does more damage whenever he has extra turns. He ignores shield, block damage, unkillable, and also stone skin. All kinds of insane damage. He also ignores all kinds of shields on his other abilities. And you can pair him up with Tholin, and both of them will do more damage because of the extra turn mechanics. This is actually pretty wild if you pair up this guy with Tholin. The problem is that both of them use attack gear, and having good gear for both of them it would be pretty crazy. You'd have to use like Merciless on one and Slayer on the other. But yeah, this guy is good for PvP, and is good for PvP as well, PvE as well, including bosses. So this guy is good everywhere. So yeah, absolute amazing champion. The next one is going to be Rotos, and Rotos is a champion that, in my opinion, is very overrated. He's a gem from the past, and a lot of veteran players still have these memories when Rotos was amazing, but nowadays he's not good anymore. So yeah, his stats are still pretty solid. He stacks from attack and HP, and you can buff himself, but yeah, I don't know, he's just not good enough anymore, at least in my opinion, from what I have seen. For example, he struggles to one-shot certain champions, and now because there are so many mechanics that stop crit damage and extra survivability, he definitely lost a lot of value. He still has some synergy with Sifi, so if you don't have Sifi, I would definitely not go for him. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, he has solid stats, but he is a gem from the past. After that, we have another Undead Hordes, which is Sanguine Maria, and this girl, she's absolutely busted. She's very underrated. She's very strong, and people just don't know how to use her. Like it's just the reality of it is that she's a very difficult champion to use. If you know how to use, she's absolutely amazing. If you don't know how to use, she's probably trash or mid, as you can see from the reviews. But she's really great. One of the reasons why she's so good, she can bypass stone skin block damage, but she can also lock out your champions, the enemy champions, by 3 turns. Like, this ability is absolutely insane. You just have to make sure that you are using this against enemies that are weak. So you can use this in PvP, you can use this in PvE as well, dungeons, Cursed City, faction wars, and because of that, she's absolutely busted. She's also extremely tanky, she also takes extra turns, she also plays through fear when she's revived, and she can revive herself if the enemies revive. So again, like, she's absolutely busted, S tier, but again, she's a very skill-capped champion, which for most people is going to be a problem, but she's definitely better than Rotos, let me tell you that. Okay, after that we have the Void champions for the first day. First champion we have is going to be Queen of Hearts. She's absolutely busted. She has a very powerful ally attack. She does AoE damage with her A1, applying decreased defense and also buffing the turn meter of all allies. And she also applies through Fear and Death Brand, which I don't remember what it does, but I know it's very powerful. I think it's like X or Ally Protect in reverse. So yeah, you apply and after you cannot revive or something. I don't remember, but she's great. And she also takes extra turns every time the enemies get buffs. And she cuts in between the champions. This is not an instant turn, this is an extra turn, which is a mechanic that is different. And I'll tell you that. But she's absolute S tier, definitely worth getting. After that, we have an Undead Horde champion that is very, very annoying. This guy is absolute cancer. Nectar the Great. And yeah, this guy is busted. He's not a damage dealer, but he's very, very annoying. He has this Ally Protect that will keep his entire team alive all the time. Very, very annoying to deal with. Block debuffs, Ally Protect, Strength. If you give him Protection set 9 piece, all of these buffs will be protected. And he's going to be very, very difficult to deal with, especially in Live Arena. If I would get this guy for a Live Arena, he's going to be absolutely insane. Arena Offense, Arena Defense. Tag Team Arena is great too. Faction Wars is good as well. But in PvE, Dungeons and so on, is mid. Let's say that. But there you go. If you get this guy Live Arena, he's amazing. Like I really wish I had this guy for Live Arena. He's absolutely busted. Last champion we have on the list for the first day is Onryo Ieyasu. And this guy is from the faction, the Shadow King. Is a attack damage dealer. And like all attack damage dealers, is going to be very squishy, but it can do all kinds of crazy things. So tons and tons of damage. He also can apply block revives, which is awesome for PvP. And he has this mechanic that splashes damage based on the damage that you are dealing on the primary target, which is pretty solid. He can do insane damage in PvE, he can do insane damage in PvP as well, but he needs a lot of babysitting. He needs Nectar the Great to protect this guy. So for example, that would be a great combo for this champion, but yeah, amazing damage dealer, but needs babysitting. So probably A- in terms of rating. So these are my ratings for the first day. I would prioritize the Queen of Hearts and Nectar the Great if you're going for the Voids. If not, go for Uzol the Jade and ignore Bazim because he's going to have a guaranteed event for sure early March. Let's move on to the next day of champions. And we have a few busted champions as well, but not the first one. The first one you're going to start with is Cassandra. Her fusion just ended. She's garbage. I mean, she's not garbage, but she's garbage. So yeah, for new players, she can be somewhat useful. She has a AoE stun, she has a speed aura, and she has a lot of survivability and self buffs. But again, because she does only single target damage, it's very, very hard to deal with her. And you can do some combos against Fire Knight and whatever, but like bro, no one cares. Like, she's just not good enough. The AoE stun is not enough to sell her. And she can do some stuff in PvP, but again, if you have like a lot of babysitting and a lot of setup, which shows that she's not a good character, like she's a B- or something like that, if not a C champion. Okay, let's move on to the next champion, which is Mishinaki. Mishinaki is amazing for new players. He's another Shadow King champion, and he's a defense-based damage dealer, magic type. He does a lot of AoE mechanics, so you can place him with a Slayer set or the Merciless with the defense. And he also applies HP burn. He also has X mechanics that will grant extra damage, plus he also has this ally assist. So this guy is amazing for new players. He becomes like mid, a little bit above mid for more endgame players, but he's definitely solid. I don't have him, and I would probably not use him because I'm already a little bit advanced for him, and my Shadow King is stacked, but there you go. After that, we have Roxanne, which is a lizard man champion, and this guy got reworked recently. When I got this guy for the first time, I was like, bro, like this guy looks super cool. He has this head, this mouth on the back of the head, but he was absolute dog shit. You can see from the reviews he was absolute trash, but now he's absolute amazing. A-tier champion, if not higher, A+ maybe, because he applies AoE defense down, he buffs himself with Veil, and his damage multipliers are ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Very strong AoE. He also gives himself turn meters for additional turns, 50% turn meter, which is absolutely crazy. And if you have the right gemstones, this can be even higher. So yeah, keep that in mind. His A1 also does solid damage, so you can pair him up. You can use him with masteries of defense for counterattacks, or with support masteries for extra stats. But yeah, either way, he's going to be a very, very strong damage dealer. But that's all he does. But he can be good for PvP and all kinds of PvE, including bosses. Let's move on to the next champion, which is going to be Ragnash. And Ragnash is a skinwalker that does all kinds of fun things. Buffs the team with speed, buffs the team with strength, AoE defense down and stun to the enemies, and he also buffs himself with increased defense. So he can be a damage dealer with increased defense without requiring someone to buff him. He also places Perfect Veil on champions with high attack, which will allow them to be protected. And he also does more damage if he has more defense than your enemies, which is going to be very common in most dungeons and even bosses. He can be good for PvP. He's a little bit mid for PvP and good for PvE. So yeah, again, it's not like absolute end game, but if you're a new player, this guy would be absolutely insane, and for faction wars as well. Let's move on to the next champion, which is going to be Granite Doorkeep. It seems like this guy is always part of some progression. It seems like he showed up like 3 times in the last 2 months or so. But he's very good. He's very good. He was a fusion HP based damage dealer with tons and tons of damage if you build him up for damage. But I usually build him up for debuffs and support, because he buffs the entire team with accuracy, with shatter that will ignore defense, and also with crit damage. So he's very, very good. He also does AoE defense down and block buffs, and he also clears buffs from the enemies. The biggest problem with this guy is that he's spirit. If this guy would be void, he would be absolute S tier, but because he's spirit, that means he has problems of affinity. But if you put him with affinity breaker set, he's absolutely amazing, and he can be very good for PvE, bosses either and so on, but also for PvP, as he can one-shot someone even if they have stone skin, unkillable block damage. He ignores all that shit. He's pretty wild. Okay, let's move on to the next champion, which is going to be the Void Champions. First Void Champion is going to be a new orc, which is a solid support, and that's it. He's a solid support HP damage dealer. He buffs your team. He does AoE stun with defense down, which can be very useful. Buffs your team with shield and fortify, which stops ignore defense, and also removes debuffs and heals. So very strong support champion, but he's very, very good, but he's not like game breaking, right? And because of that, he has to be a little bit low compared to Odin and compared to Queen of Hearts. Speaking of Odin, the champion we are going to talk about next is Odin, the Fate Weaver, and this guy is very, very solid. All kinds of crazy mechanics that he has. He buffs himself with block damage, and then he spreads all buffs to the entire team, so the entire team will get block damage. He's very, very strong. He can also revive your champions. He can also do some solid damage, nothing too crazy. The biggest problem with this guy is that he's very, very hard to gear up. He needs accuracy, he needs HP, he needs attack, he needs crit chance, he needs crit damage. He needs everything. He literally needs everything. But yeah, and he also has a very powerful aura for arena, for Void Champions, and he can be very powerful in live arena as well. He's good against bosses in PvE and dungeons. He's good in PvP as well. He's good everywhere. So yeah, he's a little bit above Queen of Hearts, maybe. I'm not sure. Both of them are like above any other Void Champion that we talked about so far. And the last champion we have is Tumesia, and she's a champion from the Skinwalkers that can empower Marius, which is great, but you should keep at least one copy of her. But yeah, she's known because she can empower one of the best champions in the game, which is Marius. And on her own, she does not do much. AoE HP burn with AoE stun, also applies slow and decrease. Like for dungeons and for faction wars, she's great. But apart from that, she's not very good. She's okay in PvP. I got clapped by her one time. But again, she's like very, very mid in those game modes. But again, she can be useful. It's just not... it's just more important to buff up your Marius. But again, you should at least have one copy of her just to make sure that you're getting all the values. So there you go, guys. These are all the summons that we have for the the clan versus clan. Once again, we are going to focus on Queen of Hearts on the Voids and Necrek the Great as the main champions you want to obtain. I would skip Azim and focus on Uzol, because Basim is for sure going to be guaranteed the next month or after. And then on the second day, Odin is amazing, Granite is pretty solid too, but everyone else I would skip. It's like Odin or nothing. So there you go. Those are the summons for Clan vs Clan, and this is all the information that you need to know in regards to the second week of the Titan event, plus these upcoming Clan vs Clan that are not personal rewards. So as always, if you guys liked information on these videos, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Raid Challenges content, and I will catch you guys later.